Thank you. I wish you were English.
For the purpose of recording, for transparency, once again, our chair and vice chair are both absent this evening, so we do need to elect a chairman. Council Crew has kindly offered to. Can I take a seconder for that officially, please? Lovely. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. That's carried. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you. And no public representation tonight, so we'll go straight to apologies for absence.
We have from Councillor Caroline Reynolds, as I've just said, Councillor Richard Tucker, who's been substituted by Councillor Owen James, thank you, and also from Councillor Catherine Gibbons.
Thank you. Any declarations of interest? Minutes of last meeting. Everybody happy with them?
Yes.
All in favour? Thank you very much. Right. What matter for consideration? Is disabled park bay anything? Disabled parking bays?
So there was one for 9 Barthurst, which has been to ward councillors and we have no objection.
That's fair enough then. I think if the ward councillors are happy, I think that's reasonable. They know the area well, so. I like the mucking like me that goes them all. Well, that's just for noting. I noted I've been through those appeals, but we've got any questions on those, but they actually followed through. I looked at it on North Somerset on the agenda. They virtually said very similar to what we said. So that's quite good thing. Feather in our cap, if you like, our comments that were followed through by officers. So that was quite good. And I think it's also the point when you look at appeals, the benefit of anyone wanting to address us is the only opportunity, as I pointed out to a couple of them the last time, because a lot of this was officer decision. So I had to delve into it to find the answers. So obviously it wouldn't have come to committee, so anybody who wants to make comments on it, it would only be the written word. So that does make a lot of sense to do it that way. But I say they were all in line with what we said. And I think they're all written representation. So we'll see whether the inspector agrees with us or not. Right, that takes us on to the planning. First one, 8th to 14th of September. I've identified one out of interest, which is
So what page are we on?
it will be page 4 to 9 this one, 8 to 14. So
Okay.
and it's the first one is tree officer. The second one, 1746, police maintenance depot. That has been hanging around for so long. It's nice to see finally an action being taken on that building, because the other thing that goes on the road, that the residents that live along the road that's already occupied, that road is so bad with potholes and the surface road, it was all agreed that it would be done within the planning act. So the fact that it's finally going through planning, I wouldn't expect there to be a problem, and I think we should support it. Yes. So there was a lot on this one of James McCarthy's on, but that on that particular week, that's the only one I've identified to talk about, unless nothing from ward members or any other members want to talk anything on that particular one.
Chair, for the purpose of the minutes, are you proposing or support that
I
application?
suppose we support the application. Yeah, everybody agrees.
Absolutely. Councillor Taylor seconded and in agreement. Thank you.
Right, that takes us on to page 10. First one there is 1824. that really is just, one of them is in my wool flubber close 1824 is. I was concerned about it, but today I did have an opportunity when somebody with Anna went and had a look. And what I thought was a problem isn't, that's okay. Material change on conditions on the Tropicana. I think that is straightforward. I couldn't see anything that would cause a problem from the original application. I've got one to look at, 1 to 3 New Bristol Road, which is 1898. The reason I thought it was worth a look is because the work is half done before we got our application through. Yeah,
Yeah, do you want to put
the plan.
document, the plan?
That's proposed.
Control.
Yeah, it is in line with what I've seen. It is in line with that plan.
It's a great upgrade.
I just thought we'd mention the fact they've already started the work before we got the plan in. I just want to make sure they weren't trying to do things which were different to the plan, but that, from what I can see, what they've started is in line with that plan. Unless anyone's got any questions on that.
So is it a retrospective?
Well, they've done the shell basically.
Okay.
So I think they may have been advised by officers that maybe they should stop at that point. They've probably been advised that they will get their plan in, because sometimes officers will make a comment that think it's in line with plans. In which case, it's okay, but I think it was a bit naughty for them to start.
Is this the garage?
Yes.
On the corner of the junction there?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's going to be a Greg's
Okay.
shop. The joint to the garage, they're making the shop bigger. But of course, it's the same company that run the one over the big one over by the landing light. That one there,
Yeah.
they've got Greg's inside as well. So this is actually building inside. What they've done the framework ready at the side of the building. And I thought, I don't remember seeing a planning application till I looked at this. But I think it's not causing a problem. I think it's, I have to say, the bloomers on the other side of it where the donkey is are doing a fantastic job. So they've spoken to the garage and they've spoken to people that are going to be running Greg's, and they're offering services like water and all the rest of it. So actually they're working they're being quite good in terms of working with the community. So I think it's, although they've started a bit early, I think it's worthy of support. Everybody's happy with support that one.
Yes.
Seconded for that proposal.
Seconded for that.
That's why I'm strong, thank you very much. Just good man all agreed.
Yeah.
That's the only one there. Denver's got a clear on, was there only one other? No. Right, what's that one? Next one is 22nd of the 28th, page 15. Well, you notice there are a number of schools that have to go through process, but I can't see a problem if it's all about installing solar panels. And I think all those buildings, Meadvale Primary, Bournemouth, Wind Whistle, they're all type of buildings that it would suit quite well.
Yes.
So I think I don't think we'll have any problem with those. We've then got the one we're looking at 1940, which is Grove Park. There's a manoeuvre of the toilet block. And I think we've all got to the point where that toilet block has become a problem to us, and I think it will only be an improvement to the park, and also when it's resurfaced, part of the entrance change. Well, I think it's all quite positive, moving in the right direction for when we take over the car parks. So I couldn't see any problem with that, and I'm sure we're all pleased to see finally a resolution to that building, because of late it's been closed more than it's open with all the problems we've had there.
They were going to alter the entrance to the park, but I can't see any reference to that here. Is that a separate application?
Yes, there are other work they're planning to do. This is the first stage of getting rid of the toilet block and the work around that. But I think that the next stage, Ray, is down to some grants which they're going for, which will enhance the entrance and a few other things inside the park. So I think we can very pleased to support that one. I think we all agree. Yes, we all agree.
Opposition then, didn't I know there are 3 comments, which I suppose, but I think we should support it, but I know that it was quite a massive issue when
It was, and
Yeah.
the interesting thing, you're right, Tim, I should have looked at a couple of people that moaned about it.
Yeah.
Also moaned about the fact they were closed.
Well,
So the
we all
fact they're
moaned
closed
about
and we
that.
couldn't do,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? When we originally took them over, and I was involved in that. When we took them over, I agree with Pete Bryant, who was the exec member at the time, that money needed to come with it so we could upgrade them. We decided, all the talk these days about having blues which are, either anybody can use, we decided at that time, rather than have it the way it was, which was causing a lot of problems, we would actually turn it into individual toilets. Now, at that time, we thought we could then do something else within the building. But unfortunately, the work they did, the pipe work and everything they've done, that whole building is full with pipe work and everything. You can't get into any other part of it. But of course, over the time, as you know, Sarah, we've had problems.
I think when we did the refurbishment, the budget was a huge factor in that, and the budget only went as far as refurbishing the front, and as you said, the back wasn't finished to be used in any other way. So the pipe work ran all along the back, which was a massive factor of cost with the monies we had at the time.
Sorry,
Yeah.
do we think that the new toilets will be rental proof?
I think this has come up through amenities many times, what was community services. We had a presentation from the team at North Somerset Council, the place team who are doing it. It's a different construction. I believe it's a timber construction. The location of it is certainly better in terms, it's going up by the cafe, alongside the cafe. And that is covered by the CCTV camera, whereas a lot of the issues in the old block is the trees and the sight lines don't allow any visual, so it's much more open and in the middle of the park. Whether it is completely vandal proof, I don't think anything is these days, but I think the police and they did the design about designing out crime, and the police felt that was a better place for it. So I think they've done the due diligence in understanding where it should go, but in terms of will it be vandalised? Grove Park, unfortunately, is an area that does.
And it's surprised, but you won't know that at the time we took them over, the ladies had 2 staff in there all the time. That got more vandalism than what we've had. And that was with attendance. they'd go into the cubicles and smash everything up and threaten the attendant. So it's been a problem ever since.
Are they going to be closed when the capital closes?
No, so we will still manage the toilets, so once they're refurbished, they come back over to us under our management. And they will be on the same timers that they all are now, so they're set timers, they're open for periods, we can. Certainly open them later if there's events in the park, but they will be the same as Uphill, Ashcombe, Clarence, and just have that automatic timer and then shut it a period of time.
So we're happy to see that.
Thank you.
Yeah, unanimously agree it's the right thing to be doing. The only one on there. The second of short query about the rugby club. Straightforward. The next one is 29th of September to the 5th of October, page 20. I do get a bit uneasy. I've got 1896. The first one, I'm afraid. Reconfiguration of first floor residential accommodation to form 4 flats. I remember when we had this some time ago, we were all getting concerned. There's so many people turning accommodation into 4 flats, and you do wonder how it all fits in. So it might be worth looking at that one just to see the size. Yeah, 1896.
Yeah.
Apologies for those of you with paper copies, looking for page numbers, they're not actually coming out on the paper copies, it's something that they're trying to work through. If you're looking at them digitally, which only one person is, the page numbers aren't massively helpful for those that got paper copies, so it is.
I've got paper copies, got the patient.
Have you?
Yeah.
Mine hasn't. And I don't think councillor.
Councillors ones will,
Okay,
it's just these two.
No,
okay, that's fine.
fine.
Yeah, okay, wonderful.
Yeah, so again, check the plan. We have been keen to look at these because we've seen a number where they're converting and so small.
Existing plan.
Floor plan.
You sure?
We'll listen.
Okay.
I've got picture of it.
Yeah.
Mm. Just trying to work out what we've done when we've always looked at these is the facilities, like toilets, they have their own, is there a communal? There's so many people trying to cram so many things in. I mean, flat 3 looks as though it's got its own. It's very odd, isn't it? It does seem fairly cramped, and they don't appear to all have their own facilities. Flat 1, flat 2, yes. Is that central kitchen now, just across the stairs?
Are those flat 1 and flat 2 a ground floor, but they're talking about altering on the first one?
Yes, it's all on first floor,
I do.
4 flats.
Oh, I thought that was ground floor. I thought it said that's ground floor. There's ground floor, so he took off from that.
No, that's to the left, right. First floor is what you're seeing in the middle of the
Oh, I
street.
see.
then over to the other side is
I
ground
can't
floor.
see 4 bathrooms unless I'm missing.
No. No.
Which to me is. To me, it looks a lot to get 4 flats in there.
Yeah. And one of them must be a studio flat.
What is the shot?
And flat and soon's got a bedroom space on it.
See 3 bathrooms, there's one there,
Yeah,
one there, one there.
yeah,
Well, like Bedford.
So there's 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, I thought there were 3 bathrooms.
Mhm.
From my point of view, I think 4 flats, when you look at those buildings. And it's the same design. I can compare it to the Conservative Club because it's the same type building. And upstairs, you wouldn't get 4 comfortable, flats in there. You'd get 4 in there, but there's a proverbial swing and a cat would be very difficult. So my personal view is no, I wouldn't take that assessment.
Looks a bit greedy, doesn't it?
I think it does. You know, and you think ahead, I know we're only involved in planning, but then you do have to think that people are going to live there eventually. And planning should be about thinking about what people do when they're living in it. Any comment?
Is that not a shower? Sorry to interrupt you, Chair. Is that not a shower there? SHR. So you've got a flat in flat 1.
Yeah.
You've got the block at the back,
But
but there's
yeah.
a bedroom,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then there's a
I
shower
agree.
room.
But you ask yourself, why isn't it in, if they configured it, that each one was self-contained, it'd be fine.
I think that one is self-contained.
I think they are self-contained, but I think it's overdevelopment, isn't it?
I think
I think it is, yeah.
So you've got your entrance into the flat here. There's the living area, there's the bedroom, and off the bedroom, it's almost like an ensuite. Off the bedroom is a shower room.
Yeah, that's
And
what I mean,
flat
so you
2.
don't, you know, so,
But it's contained in the flat, but I think it isn't a full bathroom.
no,
Whereas the others look like they've got bigger bathrooms, don't they, within there?
I think flat 2's got a bathroom, but there's a studio flat, hasn't there? I can't see a bedroom.
Yeah, flat 2's only got a bath,
Yeah.
a main room and a bedroom. Yeah.
So,
Sorry, just a studio.
yeah, personally, I think it's overdevelopment,
yeah,
so I would say that we don't support it. Everybody agree with that?
yeah.
All in favour of that, not
Try
support it?
again. Yeah.
So overdevelopment.
It's, what's from our issues.
Mm.
The only other one one of the other ones I've got is 1995. Same page down a bit further. Highbury Court, Highbury Road, that is, I thought, was now in the wider conservation area, the Western,
Mhm.
which replacing wooden frame double glazed windows with UPVC wouldn't be acceptable.
Just in conservation area.
Well, I thought the wider one, when we widened the area for Western, we widened it out to take in all of the town centre up to the quarry area. So I thought it was contained.
I think, if I could say, in the times that we live in, I think it's very difficult to turn down what we know would be draft proof and keep the place warmer and cheaper to heat, therefore saving fossil fuels, to turn that down. And also, I think the UPVC windows, whatever, if I got the right, they do some now very good effects, which a wood effect, which actually you've really got to look carefully to see what they are plastic.
So compromise that I see would be that providing it doesn't contravene the conservation area,
Mhm.
then we support it.
Yeah,
It's right upon the, yeah,
How would that be?
That's very clever way of putting it, yeah.
yes.
the politicians answer.
I well remember Highbury Road when they had an attic room. And they wanted to put a UPVC window in that you couldn't see. But the officer said, well, if you're out on the steamer,
Oh,
he did, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's, if you're out on the steamer, you could see it.
Let's face the original, some of the original plastic windows were pretty horrible, weren't they? But
Yeah,
they have-
so yeah, if everybody's happy with that, that we support it, providing it doesn't contravene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we supported the new conservation area, so we need to,
I think in case someone ever says it first, I better say slight vested interest there, not in this building, but in a different building.
and the only other one I've got there is 1997. Which is the next page.
Well, we should be better like it.
Yeah, very often when you see these side extension, which you've looked at, it's got an implication on other buildings, so it's just a question, again, of looking at the layout. Yeah,
It's actually quite well spoken, isn't it? Because it starts off when you just think, oh, it's just something, but actually the main issue comes in the second half of the sentence, doesn't it?
yes,
Because I mean, it's just proposed conversion of existing and then erection of first floor side exit, that's quite big. So from reading, you could miss that one.
yeah, that's the bit, the first bit is fine.
Yeah.
The first floor side extension, we've seen this before, where it actually encroaches on other properties and can be a bit overbearing, but the plan is not very good, is it?
No.
Have there been complaints, isn't it?
Is there any complaints on that one? If neighbours are happy, then I'm fine, but it's just support, so there's no, that's the only one?
Yeah,
Right, so there's just one of support. So we would assume the neighbourhood is happy. So you want to support it?
Yes.
Yeah? All in favour? Thank you. Right, well, that's the last of the planning applications. Long environmental. Budget preservation.
okay, so we're at that time of year and we've slightly altered the way that the budget setting process is happening this year following resolution through FMGP. So all of the committees do now have or are encouraged to give input into the budgets that will form the draft complete budget that goes to FMGP in December. So what you're being asked to do today is, in principle, consider the information that Helen's provided for you and make comments if needed. So there's only a small element that affects this committee, that is with regard to small and budget lines, not necessarily in total, is around the environmental and climate change budget. We've suggested that that is put at £41,000 this year. That still allows for the commitments, the £10,000 for planting of new trees. That's in relation to your green infrastructure strategy that does come to this committee and you have approved. There's a miscellaneous provision in there, 15,000. That's for other elements of the roadmap to zero. We are on a journey to be carbon neutral by 2030. The community fridge support at £5,000. That's around food waste initiatives. Recently moved to a different venue in the Sovereign Centre and still very much used by a lot of the community in our own there. And there's a provision for 16,000 for solar for the museum to go in, because that is something that we now need to pick up. We kind of put this one on pause when we were doing this building, but we do need to pick that up. Really, I think it
We
really
did
is
the
better.
grant for that.
We can't, there's no grants that we're, excuse me, we're not eligible for any grants because we are a government organisation. So you don't get them, unfortunately, for the, well, certainly when we researched it last time, we will of course research again, but that was certainly the.
And I think what we said, we're only gonna put enough on there to run the building,
Oh, yes.
not to do any extra.
And it won't, I don't think it will cover the complete cost of the building. It's more about reducing the cost of our energy. Because it is a big building. But it is flat roofed and it is south facing, so, yeah.
Is that the rear side of the museum at the public?
You wouldn't see it. It's a flat roof behind the parapets.
Right.
So the pitch in the atrium in the courtyard, there's both some that side and some the other side. So it would go wherever we're able to put them on, which obviously have solar gain.
Okay,
Was that, I know we've discussed this before, it's my memory, but obviously one of the issues is we didn't have officer time or resource to provide the reports and the data. I think we've got a volunteer to do that, but is there any provision we would make within the policy one
So
to do that? Or
not-
is that not,
that's a good point. Not within the 41. The 41 is purely for those four things that I've said. That's the allocation of it. A discussion was held a couple of years ago. This budget did used to be around 100,000. It then went down to 75,000. And then it was the officer time that was within this budget was decided to be removed. So no, there's not any provision for it. And we are working across the development team when we can, I think it's fair to say. So certainly if Molly's finished at the quarry, we're looking at the parks and play areas and we'll now be looking at the solar for next year in that remit. But in terms of the recording of data, we do have somebody that helps us with it when they can, but it's a little bit more ad hoc, which isn't ideal, but we do what we've got with the resources we've got.
sure.
right, and that takes, as I say, that moves
So-
on to,
Just for the minute, are you happy, because we've got to resolve that you agree in principle with this budget, or is there any inclusions that you would like in or out? Just for consistency across our committees.
well, being that we're gonna have an argument on one committee. I'm quite happy to say we're happy with this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no worse than last year, is it?
No.
No. And I think it is time we do move forward with those panels. But we did delay it, we did say some time ago that we debated and we decided just enough to cover the building.
Okay.
Now that will cover all of it.
Did we have a price for the solar panel?
We did a lot of the preliminary work in terms of understanding the weighting that the roof could take. Because we needed to do that at the time we replaced the felt roofing on the museum, rather than then have to subsequently go back and take up felt roofing that was under guarantee. So we've done some of the preliminary works on the weight testing, but we didn't get as far as going out to
No.
tender. We had indicative figures from a QS. Which is the provisions that we put in, but of course, this was going back a couple of years now. And
Yeah,
solar
Steve,
has come
yeah,
down.
you're right, Steve, when it was doing it, did the weighting, the one it could take. And that's when we decided just a number of panels to contribute towards the cost of the building, but no more. And say panels are coming down all the time, but, the cost.
Quality is going up, I think the breath going down.
Okay, so
Okay,
that's a recommendation to FTC, thank you.
right, road back to 0.
So this is Jenna's report. This is from the community fridge. So this is advising of the food wastage that's happened in October and September. The kilograms that have offset to 4,182 kilograms, and that in CO2 emissions saved equals 6.69%, as if it went into landfill. So they might seem quite small percentages, but we do this every single month and have done for a few years now, so it does all add up, and it's very well received
Well,
in the community.
Because there were times when I had nothing else to do when I was in hospital and after holiday, I actually looked at the one in Helston. They don't do anywhere near as much as this. When you consider that is a hell of a big town, Helston. And they're nowhere near that.
Yeah, I think so. We set Jenna some targets, and the team of volunteers who are brilliant in the fridge of just trying to get more shops engaged with the process, because it's only as good as the shops that give us the stock, and we can get our volunteers to pick it up and to get it into the fridge. And they have increased the number of shops that now are engaged with us, so that's a really positive message, and it's
Well,
just trying to keep it
I mean,
going.
the 15 years I spent in Morrison, in the early days, the amount was thrown away
Yes.
compared to what happened, the way we do it now. It's
Yeah,
everybody happy with that?
Yes.
that's good progress, yeah, we should be talking about this more possibly in our.
I think you're right, absolutely right, Tim. We should do more about all our positive things. There's enough people coming up with negative things, we should go do more about our positive.
Yeah, we do try. It's in our newsletter, so it's reported as an item in the newsletter every month, and also Zoe does a lot on the fridge page itself every month, saying what we've saved, and we share that across the town council. But we are, the comms team is certainly on those good news messages.
Just an example, I have a meeting every Wednesday morning regarding bin, the collection of bins and 3 weeklies. And I said, we don't make enough of saying, all these people that moan about councils putting rates up, but still going to 3 weekly bin collection, so let's make a big thing. The majority of people's waste is collected weekly. The only people who have a lot of waste 3 weekly is if they don't recycle. But if you look, the vast majority of waste is collected weekly. We don't make enough of that. We just accept the commitment, and we listen to people saying, oh, you're putting the cost up, and yet you're only going to do our bins once every 3 weeks. I went to a guy that was doing it. I actually looked in his bin and took a picture. And it was brilliant. And I could see there was stuff in there he hadn't recycled. So he came to he actually went to Dan's surgery. And I happened to do my surgery at the same time and clashed. So this guy was leaving, and Dan wrote to the council about it. And I said, So I went to see him. I said, how's your recycling going? He said, I can't get used to this red bag. So I looked at the red bag and said, well, this is what you do. I can quote and all the rest of it. So he started doing that. So for 3 collection weeks, I went around and looked in the black bin. I was very quarter full. And yet you're still moaning about the 3 weekly collection. Having moaned about 3 weekly collection, the next time back to his house, he had a big union flat hanging out the window.
Yeah.
I think that says enough.
I have to say, I think the bin service is absolutely incredible.
Anyway,
So-
that was a slight anecdote because here ends the lesson.
Thank you.
Thanks to the chair.
There we go.
Yeah, that's one.